Chair, the Nexperia troubles made world news. The Dutch headquarters of a Chinese chip company was confronted with an abrupt intervention by the Dutch government. This was done to prevent Dutch technological knowledge and production capacity from being transferred to China. Based on the Goods Availability Act of 1952, a law designed as an instrument for situations of acute threatening shortages where the continuity of Dutch society is at stake. It was the first time since its introduction that this law was invoked by the Minister of Economic Affairs. In parallel, it was the Enterprise Chamber, which proceeded to take administrative measures at Nexperia, suspending the Chinese CEO of the company. A unique hybrid use of administrative and corporate law. This remarkable decisiveness was not appreciated by China, not incomprehensible. There, these actions are seen as a Dutch conspiracy to reinforce American sanctions or trade policies and to obstruct China. China's counteraction followed immediately. An export ban to the EU on Nexperia chips produced in China. As a result, the German automotive industry, among others, panicked because these Nexperia chips turned out to be essential in their supply chain. The feverish international consultations that followed led Minister Karaman's to suspend the measures under the aforementioned crisis law. The export of chips from China was resumed, but the story with the Enterprise Chamber is not over yet, and the relationship between the Netherlands and China appears to be damaged. The fact that China indicated they did not have time to receive the minister is a sign of the times. All in all, an unfortunate episode that certainly does not deserve a beauty prize. Couldn't this have been handled differently? I asked the minister. The motive the minister puts forward for his interventions is the risk of the Netherlands losing crucial technological knowledge and production capacity in the highly specialized sector. In itself, FVD appreciates it when a government takes a protective approach to the Dutch industrial landscape. In many sectors, in the context of the international free market, we have unfortunately allowed iconic Dutch companies to fall into foreign hands, such as Hoogovens, KLM, Organon, Numico, Crucell, Nuon, and Essent, and now also Nexperia. Looking back, we are not happy about that in all cases. When a company is entirely in foreign hands, as is the case with Nexperia, there is relatively little the government can do if, when it comes down to it, activities disappear completely or partially from the Netherlands. Then only very drastic measures remain. Any adjustments to better protect Dutch interests could have been made much earlier and more naturally in the case of Nexperia. For example, by blocking the sale to a Chinese party, attaching conditions to it, or by retaining a stake ourselves. That is what the FIFA law now provides for. This applies to sensitive technologies. But couldn't its scope be applied more broadly? That brings to mind the days of Director General of Industry, Jozef Molkenboer, at the Ministry of Economic Affairs in the 1970s, who was called the Dutch Industry Pope. At that time, the Ministry of Economic Affairs was connected to dozens of Dutch companies as a shareholder, financial supporter, and often as a government observer. This resulted not only in major losses, but also in complicated conflicts of interest, as became clear during the parliamentary inquiry into Rijnschelde-Weerolme in 1983-84. This intensive financial entanglement was subsequently phased out in the 1980s. I certainly would not want to advocate a revival of that old industrial policy here, Chair, but certain elements of it, such as selectively and strategically participating in crucial Dutch companies, could perhaps be considered. With this kind of toolkit, the Dutch interest can be protected for the future where necessary, and unfortunate maneuvers like the ones we saw with Nexperia can be avoided. We would appreciate a written reflection on this from the Minister. Can the Minister commit to this?